Here she also says the body deals with narratives. I don't mean stories. The knee gets hurt and then it gets better. And I think with narrativization, it's also we started talking about writing and like with bodybuilding, how you kind of break muscle, and then you also in writing you have to kind of break the structure of the sentence and rewrite, and then kind of that's how it grows.
And I think we also talked about something about the importance of failure. In order to actually move forward and stuff.
All
right, let's do it. Hello everyone, you're listening to the bonus episode of the 3rd season of I Hope This Message Finds You Well, a podcast on curating, where I, Eloise Sweetman, and my friend and colleague Chris Dittle talk to curators about their approach to curating, how they began, and what they love about the profession. This time, we went to the gym.
We recorded this episode while walking on a treadmill, so apologies for the panting. We talked about our relationship to exercise and understanding of our limits. We also discussed failure, bodywork, and writing via Kathy Acker and writing as a physical experience.
Okay.
You know, I think for all the gym people, we are like the laziest here because we are kind of walking slow and just talking on the treadmill.
Hey, we're having a meeting.
Sorry. Yeah, this is like CEOs. So my walking desk here, I can catch a Zoom call. Hello, Eloise.
Hi, Chris. How's it going?
Welcome, everyone, at the gym. I feel like I need to describe this scenery because this is a kind of unusual gym that you have this view to the city's like 2 largest or most prominent bridges, and we're above the water. And I really like that downstairs, if you go to the free weights area, you are at water level, and when the water level is a bit higher, it kind of brushes up against the window, which gives it a really apocalyptic feeling. And we are also walking the treadmill. I feel I need to describe this breathing.
The last time we were here, there weren't as many people.
Yeah?
Yeah. Huh. I think we came in the afternoon. No, we were here in the morning.
I don't know.
But
yeah.
We're the least active and the most chatty.
Yeah, the least active, most chatty, CEO style, having a business meeting on the treadmill. Yeah, yeah. I was mentioning to you earlier, there is a connection to workout and our curatorial discussions. When pre-pandemic, a few years ago, we started going to Pilates together, followed by coffee meetings. And I think those kind of coffee meetings after, or catching up after having worked out, were the first conversations when we really started talking about our work, just the 2 of us.
Yeah, before that we were doing the curator self-help group.
Right.
Well, twice maybe.
A few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was also just the 2 of us without the other group or other people. So it kind of comes from friendship plus like kind of professional friendship. Yeah. And I think we were gossiping more. Less.
You think so?
Oh, no?
Like
then the Pilates coffee meetings.
Oh yeah.
No, I think we cut the gossip. For good reasons.
I feel like we're way more open in our conversations now, despite the fact that we have an audience.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no.
But Eloise, what's your relationship to exercise in general, or moving your body?
I feel like I've always done something, but I would say this is the least active I've ever been in my life. But yeah, I've always done sport as a kid, and I I grew up in a family of exercises. Like my parents have always done some kind of exercise, whether it's Tai Chi or running or swimming. And my brothers are, well, one of the brothers are always active. But yeah, I've always felt like it's something I need to do, but more in order to keep my thoughts in line. You know, like, but trying to go to the gym is definitely not something that I feel comfortable with. Like, I tried it. It's like, I feel better that we're now here together, but I wouldn't feel comfortable coming on my own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it can be an intimidating exercise, actually. I mean, it's good to start coming with someone for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried it. I mean, I realized that it also depends on the state of mind I am in. Like, last year I was doing Pilates every day for like 9 months straight. And then I went to Japan and it completely stopped, and I haven't really done any exercise since. Not even walking, because I can't find it. Like, I feel like I can't prioritize it over the work that I need to do in the office, if you know what I mean.
You can, though.
Yeah, how do you prioritize?
I do.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you prioritize it?
I just set time for it in my agenda, and then I don't schedule anything, because I know, like, I need to get at least 3 times, 4 times ideal to the gym during the weekend. And sometimes it's really kind of, and it becomes quite easy after a while. Like, it really becomes part of my rhythm. But I did have this problem because I was not raised with this sort of, like, I wasn't exposed to exercise. My family didn't really exercise, they worked physically. So actually I was always encouraged to study. You know, the typical situation where, you know, I was pushed to study of the myth of the gifted child, which is a total myth. And so I was always encouraged to do other kind of mental work and not to do any physical work. Because that was seen as something like, you know, my dad went to university, but my parents really wanted me to have a better life. So to study, and I was totally overworked in terms of, like, mental work. But over the last maybe decade or so, I kind of consciously started to, let's say, have a bit better connection to my body, which I did not have. And that came also from a lot of, I don't know, pain. I started to have, like, a lot of back pain and these sort of things, and just not having a generally good condition. And then I've been doing yoga a lot, some running, and now I'm really into going to the gym.
But when did you start coming to the gym?
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years, so it's been a while. So 3 to 4 times a week for the last 2.5 years.
But actually, what I want to say with the scheduling is it was really hard at the beginning, extremely hard, because I felt so guilty. And I found it so hard to switch off. And this already started with yoga, because I kind of, much before. But then I realized in the long term, it really helps me also in my stamina, focus, all these sort of things.
Do you think you sleep better? You sleep better?
I don't generally sleep very well.
Because you're a night owl.
Unfortunately, I'm on a different rhythm than the rest of society. But you know, in terms of scheduling, it can be really hard at the beginning.
But the guilt is that you sort of, like what I was saying, that I feel like it doesn't seem like a productive use of, even though it of course it is.
And then I couldn't switch off my mind thinking about all these other things I have to do, like these other emails I have to write, or text that I need to edit and so on. And then it felt like, oh my God, I'm just losing my time here. I mean, this was a long time ago, but I do remember.
So how long did it last for?
I don't know. So the other thing is that for me, exercise, so I have some chronic health condition, and then it really helps to not have as deep dips when I'm not doing well. Like, in a long horizon, it really helps to feel better. So then I kind of justify it for myself, which is weird. I shouldn't be justifying that I need to be healthier and
Yeah. It's funny because
stronger.
we do live in a society that prizes like, you know, the healthy,
Yeah,
sane, normal
exactly.
citizen.
Able.
Yeah. And yet, like, when it comes to doing that, it seems like it's also selfish.
Yeah.
You know, it's a funny, but then
It is a contradiction in this wellness culture, because it is also, of course, has to do with class, because,
true.
you know,
Yeah, having the
you have
time
to be
do
this fit person in beautiful leggings.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the last time we were here, I had a different answer to the question. Yeah, and I think it's really changed.
How, in what way did it change?
Because before I was doing exercise every day, and now in this time the most I've done is I've ridden my bike to IKEA, you know, which is far. It's 7.5 kilometers, but you know, it's not really.
Yeah,
I don't
not
feel
the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. And I hope I have noticed that the effect of not doing exercise regularly has slowly started to make an impact. Like, I feel like I've become more interested in wasting my time on Instagram, sleeping less and I'm eating worse. And I do find that when I do exercise, and even if it's like 10 minutes of actual like proper exercise, not just walking to the studio and back, a lot of that stuff is sort of more regulated.
Yes.
I feel like I'm more in control.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, the biggest benefit for me is also mood change.
Yeah.
You know, I feel so much better.
Problems
and
are
this is
less.
not some kind of short peaks of feeling good, like the kind of instant gratification of you know, small things, but it's like on a longer horizon.
Yeah.
It is also very liberating to kind of be able to be in your body.
Yeah.
And I think really be in it, because there's also this aspiration of wellness culture. You have to look in some way and gain certain strength, but actually also what it teaches me is really acceptance of my limits, and what are, you know, like it's also sometimes really nice to understand how strong you can be, but sometimes it's also very good and important to understand what are my limits, which sometimes is just physiological or, you know.
But you're now working with weights, right?
Yeah.
And that's also like not a new thing, but since you've come to the gym, you've been doing that.
Yeah.
Like and you've done that because you became aware of the health benefits of weightlifting.
Yeah. It's also nice to build some muscle.
Yeah.
Especially at this age, you know, when after 40 they say that your body starts to lose muscle mass unless you build it.
Yeah.
So I'm also in the last minute panic of building my muscles.
Well,
But I mean, it is kind of interesting to navigate this sort of like wellness beauty culture versus these sort of maybe more way spiritual, I would even say, ways of connecting to your body. It can be actually. It's weird to say that the gym is spiritual, but in some way,
I guess you do become more aware of what the body can do, or the limit of how much it can be pushed. Right? Yeah.
You know, it's also what you said, that you find it intimidating to come alone to the gym, and that's an interesting way you can flip it, because you can say like, am I judging anyone? You know, like I'm never judging anyone. I'm so happy when people are doing what they can do, and you know, just any movement or any step you take is
I think
good, but then you're so hard on yourself. I recognize it too. Of like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, and everybody will see me. I'm doing things the wrong way, or.
Don't you think I kind of have the same when I go to an exhibition opening?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think it just might be general social anxiety. Although I have noticed that because I'm doing less exercise and I'm also on my own more, that social anxiety is worse. But like
you know, like the
Yeah.
more you're out and about, the less social anxiety because you're,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And then it also can be just fine, you know, not having to worry about people watching you. It's kind of liberating also.
Yeah, that's also nice.
For yeah. And what is very nice, what I mentioned before, is this, you know, facing your own limitations. And when you work out with weights, and if you want to build muscle, what you actually have to do to go to your limits, to go to your failure. So whenever I do, the last set always have to be difficult, and then the last bit, you know, I have to fail.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you won't grow. If I'm just doing something too easy, it means
okay.
I'm kind of
Just doing the motions.
yeah.
Oops. But to go to failure, that also means that you can actually almost not even do the last, like, it's to the point where you can no longer do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you could only go halfway, or
and
not
then
even.
my body starts to shake and I have to stop. So I think that's a kind of nice way of also understanding limits. I'm not very good in understanding my limits.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also not staying too much in the kind of comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was reading Kathy Acker recently, who is of course very known for writing about bodybuilding and her relationship to her body. And she does mention failure, that in bodybuilding you have to move through failure. I have a little quote here on my phone.
All right.
Should I read it?
Sure.
So, because it's about focusing and about consciousness, and it's about focusing through pain. I mean, it's how the body works, and writing, as you said, is about rhythm. It has a lot to do with the body writing. So this also made me think about the kind of work we do, and how writing is often seen as this cerebral exercise, but it's actually also in many ways very physical.
Yeah.
Don't know how to experience that.
Yeah. I find writing a pretty difficult, painful process, and in the sense that like it can be so frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think like in this idea of failure is very interesting, because like it's usually when things are not going right that I feel stuck, that I then know that I'm in the right track.
Yeah.
So I know that if I'm on the floor in tears of frustration, I know that actually there is something that I'm trying to figure
Something
out.
is happening.
Yeah. And I think, it
Because
is.
there's something at stake, right?
Yeah.
That kind of keeps on bugging you, that you need to resolve for different reasons.
Yeah. I think also it's interesting to think about failure in that sense in the body in regards to curating too. You know, like one of the things that we are interested in with the podcast is also like showing.
I can't really hear you, so you have to talk too.
One of the things is I feel like I can really hear myself so well. I feel like with curating, like the reason why we wanted to do this podcast is to kind of like talk about failure and the difficulties and also like, but the actual physical aspect of curating.
Yeah.
Like there's so much desk work, and then there's like, months and months of desk work, and then suddenly the install period where you're
Like
lifting
on
things
and you're on your
up
feet
ladders
all day.
and it's also like I think the body is also, if it's not well exercised in between shows, it can also do damage.
Yeah,
I've had a time where I've had to stay at home because my back was thrown out, But I do think that going back to what with Kathy Acker, it's really interesting because I think for her, like bodybuilding was also very important, right? Like,
It's about focusing and consciousness, about focusing through pain. It's how
focusing through pain.
and it's how the body work, and writing is about rhythm.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with body writing. So I guess it's also the kind of rhythm of it, and the kind of attention you have to give to yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
Because also, you know how in bodybuilding, technically, to grow muscle, you have to kind of rip muscle.
Yeah.
And that's why you have
yeah.
the kind of pain after the next day. And it made me think how also when you're writing, oftentimes you have to go back and erase maybe your favorite paragraphs, or
yeah.
completely restructure or rewrite, or kind of kill your babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like there is also some kind of pain attached to it, or, you know, the not going anywhere kind of feeling
Yeah.
of being stuck
Yeah.
in your writing. So you need to completely sometimes destroy, sometimes just remake or rewrite everything
Yeah. Yeah.
with
To
a
get-
certain kind of attention and focus, which I find quite a fascinating thing to learn from.
Yeah.
Like learning from like bodily workout, and then implementing that maybe in my thinking and writing. However, this kind of drafts like a very binary image of body mind, but
yeah.
I did make that mistake in my life where I feel like I was very disconnected from my body
Yeah. Yeah.
most of my life.
Yeah. No.
Thank you for listening. If you have feedback, we would love to receive your email at ihopethismessagefindsyouwell@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at ihopethismessage and find us on SoundCloud under the same handle.
The jingle was made by artist Natalia Sozano, sound engineering was done by Nick Thomas, and our graphic designer is Christoph Clarice.
I hope this message finds you well. I hope this message finds you well. I hope this message finds you well. I hope this message finds you